is given a microphone, he gives us some pictures into what exactly is going on within ZANU-PF. Guess what? This time around, Chris Mutsvanga clashed with Gudawashe Tagwirei over his recent sentiments that he made, suggesting that they will be fighting against foreigners who establish shops in Zimbabwe. And Chris Mutsvanga was setting the record straight that is not the position of the Zimbabwean government. They don't want to bring, Tudula into Zimbabwe. In simple terms, that is what Chris Mutsvanga was saying. I think I'll be giving you the context in terms of the sound of what these two gentlemen have said against each other. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So let me play first the audio of Gudawashe Tagwirei speaking. Let's hope it will allow. Um, yeah, just bear with me. My network. Okay, it's gonna play. Hopefully, it's my network is giving me problems, but definitely.
Vari foreigners saka zvawirirana kuconference kuti takuda kuita anonzi mareserve sectors ekuti aya masectors anongoitwa nevana vemuno muzimbabwe zvakafanana nekuita marori zvakafanana nekuita maretail stations izvi hatidi vanhu vekuzhe toda vana vemuno muzimbabwe.
Okay, that's what Gudawashe said. Let's hear Chris Mutsvanga responding today through his press.
I also have one particular issue which I want to address. Zimbabwe was founded by the support of Africa, the Africa OAU Liberation Committee, and one of the first beneficiaries of the OAU Liberation Committee is a young aspiring guerrilla, was the current president. Africa matters to us as a country. It made us become what we are. When Mozambique was supporting us, they were a neighbor, but they were also African. Saka, you don't go about saying good atidi foreigners munyika muno. Atidi zwana dudura muno. We are an African country. Africans are not foreigners in Zimbabwe. Africans are not foreigners in Zimbabwe. They belong to this country. If there are certain things which will be done by certain Africans, let them be handled by the legal process, Maprisa, courts, not some kind of blanket condemnation by a green stick approach. No. We're a mature brown stick country which has got a lot of respect for our African brethren, and when they are here, we treat them exactly as Zimbabweans in this country. We are not xenophobic like South Africa. And I mentioned earlier on, when you live in glass house, don't throw stones. I said, the third biggest foreign currency earner in this country is the diaspora. They are strangers in other lands, in other jurisdictions. So if you live in glass houses, don't throw stones. Now we are diaspora all over the world. If you take precedent at home where you blacklist a nationality, Chinese, Indian, or whatever, simply because of their color, you are also making it possible for your people to be treated in equal manner in other jurisdictions. We are a humanitarian country. We belong to the world. If there are any infractions, the law will take its course, not having a blanket condemnation of other nations or fellow Africans. And certain things are only said by the president. They are not said by everybody. Otherwise, someone wega afunga kuti kugona kuita president anongobuda police and shout out for me on platform. And it's longer what tonga Zimbabwe. Tonga nemun one. You may what I say, you've been dealing with me now for a long time. I have never been made to retract a statement after I've spoken here. I speak the mind of the president, I speak the mind of the party. Because policies are not vakure, are not in us. That's what we follow. So it may not be too late, particularly for these people that are kumanya pamberi vachitoda kuita president nekuti kuti vambodzokera kuchitepo college. I've mentioned it before. Nothing wrong with that. This is very good. Because mukandoona when we talk, I'm a product of the Chitepo College. Most of the ZANU people cadreship they are product of the Chitepo College. Pane vamwe vakandosina kuuya kuchitepo vanga vari kuTanzania. So havana kubikwa nepfungwa dzechikoro chepati. Kune vamwe vakujoina today vanoda kuenda pamberi vachizviti hatibviri nemusangano. Imboudzidza musangano uyu. So kana wakutaura nezvavo unotaura in line, in sync with the leadership of the president. Don't embarrass our president vochisvika kuCentral African Republic kuIvory Coast on a visit. Once Ivory Coastans hadiwa vakanzarwa munyika menyu ivo vachishamira is visiting his fellow African head of state in Lusaka or in DRC. We don't do things like that. We are African, we identify with the African. Right now there is going to be a big meeting in the Caribbean, about the Caribbean in Africa, in Equatorial Guinea, in Malabo. We respect our diaspora. That's why Bob Marley was sing so proudly about Zimbabwe when we won. So why do we want now to say, and kana uchifamba mu street muchaziya sei kuti uyu mboyi ndewe kuZambia, muZambian, uyu mboyi ari kuwandasangana naye ndewe kuZimbabwe. Do you have a distinction between a Zambian and a Zimbabwe? Do you have that distinction? Saka chaona maZambians ativadi mabusiness akati hechi zvabvepi izvozvo. Hazvisi zveZANU-PF, hazvisi zvapresident. I want to put it on record. ZANU-PF is a Pan-Africanist party. It respects all Africans, and when they are in this country, they are a host of the Zimbabwe people, they are a host of the ruling party, they are a host of the Zimbabwe government. If there are certain things which they have done, let the law take its course, but don't put a national rubric as a way of side-rhyming and blacklisting other Africans. No, no, no. Or for that matter, any other nationality. Atina nationality yatinoda kuti iri deyakati it's not African. It's not Zimbabwe.
Yeah, here I think, ladies and gentlemen, I had to play the two videos so that those would say, no, but this is your assumption, will get the sense of what I'm talking about. Now here there is Gudawashe Tagwirei. He goes after he has been announcing a lot of policies, some of them that are not in sync with ZANU-PF, which are foreign to ZANU-PF. And Chris Mutsvanga dealing with him properly and also saying to the journalists, some of you have said I retracted some statements. I never retracted some statements. I still maintain that some of the people needs to go to HEPET, Chitepo School of Ideology. And he was speaking this referring to Gudawashe Tagwirei before that Gudawashe, and they also spoke about the presidential ambitions of Gudawashe Tagwirei. Chris Mutsvanga still hold the position, still hold this assertion that Gudawashe Tagwirei should never even have presidential aspirations. That is what he was simply saying, saying in Zimbabwe there should not be anyone who speak about ZANU-PF policies except the current president of ZANU-PF. Someone should not go out there and lambast the foreigners. I was worried also about the sentiments that were said by, I think, this fellow Gudawashe Tagwirei. We cannot in Zimbabwe allow anyone to speak bad about our African brothers. Never. I think Zimbabwe should remain open for all Africans. If Africans wants to come and stay in Zimbabwe, I think for the first time, I agree with Chris Mutsvanga on this one. There is absolutely no one who should. In Zimbabwe, we don't have that culture. It's a foreign culture. We hear it in South Africa. It should stay in South Africa. Zimbabwe is not a xenophobic country, and Gudawashe Tagwirei should not bring his xenophobic spirit in Zimbabwe. It would never work. If Somalians wants to open shop, we will compete with them and open other shops next to. We are not afraid of competition. They are our brothers. If Zambians, we lived with Zambians. I remember we lived with Zambians. They were struggling to speak, but we welcomed them. We embraced them. I never saw a Zambian being deported in Zimbabwe. We lived with the Malawian brothers. They were naturalized. Most of them, they are now citizens in Zimbabwe, because that is Zimbabwe. We have got plenty land for all our African brothers. We can accommodate them. We shouldn't actually. I think I agree largely with Chris Mutsvanga, especially on the aspect of, condemning xenophobic utterances that were said by Gudawashe Tagwirei. But also, let's come back to the politics of home now. What does then this, I've always said it's very difficult to position where Chris Mutsvanga is. At this crucial moment, where Chris Mutsvanga is seemingly supporting the 2030 mantra of Emerson Mnangagwa, but not supporting the presidential ambitions of Gudawashe Tagwirei. He has made it plain clear that Gudawashe Tagwirei's presidential aspirations, he is doing that on his own, and he does. And not only not supporting his presidential, Chris Mutsvanga seems to be not even in good books with Gudawashe Tagwirei, who is paraded by ZANU-PF, especially the Harare province. The Harare province, that is also equally captured by Emerson Mnangagwa and pushing the interest of the bedroom of Emerson Mnangagwa. So I've always told people, I like this term I use. I had someone at home here talking about it. Chris Mutsvanga is a cunning personality. Now, a cunning personality is actually someone whom you cannot tell whether at one point he advances the interest of retired General Chwenga, but also he appears to be against, because he spoke about retired General Chwenga in the just audio that I have played in passing. Of course, he would not mention his name, saying no one should have a presidential aspirations. Is also, but remember, I've said this. There are many people in ZANU-PF who are actually harboring a 2030 mantra during the day, but at night they are against the term extension of Emerson Mnangagwa. During the day, for survival purposes, they are actually chanting that 2030. You could see even the so-called new recruits, this fellow who was recently supporting retired General Chwenga, but have been presented as someone who has come back. When they asked him to do the slogan, he was saying, Pamberine ZANU-PF. When it came to actually 2030, he hesitated. There was that hesitation to speak about 2030, but because the supporters of Mnangagwa wanted him to say so, he ended up saying so. These may be people strategically deployed by the other faction to be believed by the system, not working for necessarily the faction of Mnangagwa, but working for the other faction. Chris Mutsvanga, I don't get him. And his clash with Gudawashe Tagwirei, is gonna put him also in hot soup, especially with Barakash. I don't think Barakashi would be happy about this, and it must be very, very painful to be a Mrakashi in ZANU PF because at one point you are running with Gudawashe Tagwirei, then Chris Mutsvanga comes and pours cold water on everything. So what Chris Mutsvanga said about the Gudawashe Tagwirei today, he said, "You are a political boy." He is actually speaking like this, saying, "You are a boy in politics. You need to go to the ZANU PF indoctrination school called Herbert Chitepo School of Ideology to be indoctrinated and understand." In simple terms, he's saying the platform that you are given, you are misusing the platform that you are being given by ZANU PF, soiling the name of the president. And this is, last time, as soon as, when I say this, you know what I'm laughing about? As soon as Chris Mutsvanga said what is synonymous with what he said today, there was the Politburo, and they took pictures of Chris Mutsvanga, not so good pictures. I think they are good for us when we talk about him to put these pictures. And today also, someone said Mutanga doesn't really speak out of principle. He's simply grandstanding and antagonizing Tagwirei. Okay, let me. I just want to read that message. Tagwirei, it's like rats complaining that cats are smelling. There is something, I've repeated this point numerous times, that people should be careful at individuals like Gudawashi, like not Gudawashi Tagwirei, but Chris Mutsvanga. Chris Mutsvanga and Gudawashi Tagwirei, they don't like each other. I remember I've repeated this, that those people who are supporting Mnangagwa, they don't like each other. And I strongly believe Mnangagwa is telling them the same thing. He's promising Chris Mutsvanga the vice presidency or possibly presidency, and he's telling also Gudawashe Tagwirei the same thing, Mepru Chinomona the same thing, Owen Mutanga the same thing. He is actually dividing them to rule them. And don't they notice this? I'm sure they notice it if they are smart people, that they are being used by this man. This man is after promoting nothing but himself. Others are being used to actually chain themselves. And I wonder who sanctioned this press briefing. Was Chris Mutsvanga told? Because you see, I'm tempted to want to play this again, because let me hope I can find this particular video, and I'm tempted to play it again. Let me just search for it, because I want you to hear the opening remarks of Chris Mutsvanga, because this is, did not make mistake. This is something that he wanted to speak. This is the point that he wanted to derive home to Gudawashe. Let me search for him. I'm sure I'll just bear with me in a moment. I just want to make you listen to this particular video. Okay, is it today? Right. Okay, let me do this. Okay. Just bear with me. I'm just want to play this thing if I'm able, because I want to expand my point and make you understand this clearly. I hope. The video is okay. Let me try to play it.
Particularly for these people, so it may not be too late, particularly for these people vada kumhanya pamberi vachitoda kuita president nekuti chi kuti vambodzokera kuchitepo college. I've mentioned it before. Nothing wrong with that. This is very good. Kuti vaende, because mukandoona, when we talk, I'm a product of the Chitepo college. Most of the ZANU people cadreship vakarwa hondo, they are product of the Chitepo college. Pane vamwe vakandosina kuuya kuchitepo vanga vari kuTanzania, so havana kubikwa nepfungwa dzechikoro chepati. Kune vamwe vakujoina today.
Okay. So the Sabame says there are some who are in Tanzania. I think that is retired General Chwenga. There are some who wants to join today. That is none other than Gudawashe Tagwirei. But there is something I wanted to play, especially the first part. But unfortunately, I can't get hold of it. But if you listen to the video, if you listen carefully to the audio I started playing when he wanted to speak about Gudawashe Tagwirei, he said, there is something that I wanted to say. It appears this is what when he was doing this press briefing, he wanted to put across. He says, there is something that I wanted to say. And then he begins to hammer Gudawashe Tagwirei. He did not only hammer Gudawashe Tagwirei alone, he hammered also retired General Chwenga. Something tells me that he is promised something equal to what I think Chwenga is looking forward to be, as well as also Tagwirei is looking forward to be. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe